Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice Radio, and today, I'm happy. Because we've got a new Tag Team GX to talk about, and it involves Latias, and for those of you that watch my channel regularly, you will know that this is the Baby Daisy Spirit Pokemon. Because the day she was born, I'm not exaggerating, the day she was born, I was explaining to her all about Latias Prism Star. So like it or lump it, Baby Daisy, this is your spirit Pokemon. And now we actually have a Tag Team GX. Now we knew it was coming. I did do my prediction video about this a little while ago. I'll pop a link to that one in the description. But for now, let's have a gander. It's actually been revealed in English. So it's got 250 HP. Which is kind of right in the middle. You're talking more than Pikachu and Zekrom Tag Team GX, but not as big as something like Magikarp and Wailord. And then we see that it's a dragon Pokemon. It looks like we're getting one of each type, at least initially. Here's your dragon type. Best thing about that is Devoured Field, which will make a difference here. Gives you an extra 10 damage. And it's got a weakness to Fairy, which at the moment is actually really bad. We've got Gardevoir, which is seeing more and more play. It went and won in Roanoke last weekend. Granbull is a legitimate deck. Sylveon is still hanging around. Fairy is actually a really, really bad weakness right now, which is an issue as we'll get to in a moment. Retreat cost of 1, really nice. And incidentally, by far the lowest so far. The lowest we've previously had is Gengar and Mimikyu that had a retreat cost of 2. This is 1. That's quite nice. I like this a lot. This is also weird, of course, because it's not a big Pokemon and a little Pokemon. It's 2 legendary Pokemon, which makes it a little bit weird. But what about the attacks? Well, you can already see that the first attack does 240 damage. Water, Psychic, Colorless, 240. Discard free energy from this Pokemon. Now, if we had Double Dragon Energy, that would be a huge, huge help here. Now, we don't. But do remember that in the expanded format we do, so that is still an option. Bear this in mind if it ever does get reprinted. But 240 is huge here. If we ignore Tag Team GXs for the moment, 240 is just redonk, ladies and gentlemen. You don't do 240 as a general attack. If we want to take an equivalent non-Tag Team GX, we could talk about Duskmane Necrozma. Now, this hits 220 for 4 energy, and that is a great Pokemon that does a huge amount of damage. This is actually up at 240. And this is where Devoured Field comes in, because with 240, there's just the odd Pokemon that just escapes. Things like Incineroar GX, things like Metagross GX, and a Devoured Field gets you nicely here. That's redonk. Now, in terms of Tag Team GXs, you're still getting big one-hit KOs, but it's not quite as easy. So 240 naturally will get you Pikachu and Zekrom, it will get you Mimikyu and Gengar, and in that respect, you're rolling. Some of the beefier ones, think Eevee and Snorlax, for instance, they're sitting there with 270, and you can KO them, but you will need a choice band in order to be able to do so. But the awkward one here is Magikarp and Wailord, which is actually sitting there at 300. So even with a choice band, you're not getting the KO here. And weirdly, one of the best things to use to get the KO would be Latios. Essentially, you just sit there doing 30 with Latios to Magikarp and Wailord, and as soon as they don't heal, the one turn they don't heal, then you flick up Latias and Latios Prism Star, and then you can get rolling and get a KO, and life is good. It does so much damage. It is phenomenal. There are just 2 questions that need to be answered, and we have varying degrees of success when we answer them. How do you get the energy on, and can it trade with other Pokemon? Now, getting the energy on is easy. We've got Malamar. This is water, 2 psychic, and a colorless. Malamar works beautifully here. Yes, you'll need to play a couple of water energy, but it's not like we haven't played random energy in the past to help us out. Think how Magnezone Prime needed to have a lightning energy, despite the fact that it was played with Ember, who accelerated fire energy. Think more recently about Necrozma, Ultra Necrozma, where we would play metal energy and then play it with Malamar as well. So we don't need to worry too much about this. Incidentally, Ultra Necrozma with Malamar is very similar. If you put 3 Psychic and a Metal on Ultra Necrozma and discarded them all, you would do 260 damage, which is actually 20 more than we have on Latios and Latias. Okay, Latias and Latios is actually the correct way round. So why would we play this over Ultra Necrozma? Well, partly the GX attack, we'll get there in a minute, partly the increased HP, and partly the fact that water opens up more options. Because actually, with a water energy here, you could play Quagsire, and you could play Aqua Patch here as well, to help you accelerate the energy just that little bit faster. I'm not sure if you need to if you're already playing Naganadel, but it is absolutely an option. This just gets a straight flat one-hit KO on basically everything. It's expensive, but we've got ways to pay it. So the question then becomes, can it trade? And quite simply, against most GXs, the answer is yes. So if you find yourself against something like a Lycanroc GX, well, as long as they don't catch you with 5 bench Pokemon, they're not going to be KOing even with Dangerous Rogue. You'll get easy one-hit KOs. Against something like Zoroark, they're going to be naturally, 2-hit KOing you if they play something like, ironically, Devoured Field, whereas you'll be easily one-hit KOing them. The thing is, you're giving up free prizes. So if you come across something like Blacephalon, for instance, they can one-hit KO you, and then you're trading 2 for free, and that's a slight problem. So what you need to do here is play other Pokemon. This is a great attacker, but I don't think it'll work by itself. Against non-GXs, if they're 2-hit KOing you, then that's going to give them the advantage. And if you're against something like Granbull, I mean, it's going to be a massacre if you come against Granbull. I like the attack. It is a phenomenal attack. But there is an argument that Ultra Necrozma could be just as good while only giving up 2 prizes, although the 60 less HP does make a huge difference. In a bunch of matchups, it does make a big difference. But then it only gives up 2 prizes, so swings and roundabouts. And also, it doesn't trade well with everything. With most GXs, it trades well. But a non-GX that can 2-hit KO or a GX that can 1-hit KO, you are trading unfavorably. But we also have the Tag Team GX attack here, Aero Unit GX. For 1 Psychic Energy, you attach 5 Basic Energy from your discard pile to your Pokemon in any way that you like. That's fine. It's pretty good. I mean, it's basically Zero Aura's GX attack. It's alright. But if you add a second Psychic, remember all these tag teams do something else if you add extra energy on, then you get immunity the following turn. You are just completely and utterly immune the next turn. Think something like Dawn Wings Necrozma. This is a good GX attack. Essentially what you do is you just have the 1 Tag Team GX out, and then with 1 energy attached to you, 2 energy because you need to get the extra effect, you use this, you get all the extra energy on you to attack, you get immunity for the turn, and then essentially you've got enough energy to get the KO next turn, but also you know you're not going down in the meantime. Do remember, and this is another significant advantage it has over Ultra Necrozma, you can pile energy on here. Ultra Necrozma has to discard all basic Psychic, whereas this discards free energy. So actually, this works out quite nicely, because if you put 7 energy on there, you can discard 3 and still be ready for Buster Purge next turn. One more note if we compare this to Ultra Necrozma. Ultra Necrozma has to be essentially 1 metal-free Psychic, whereas this could be 2 water, 2 Psychic. I do think it's better than Ultra Necrozma. I just have to acknowledge the fact that it is similar in a lot of ways, especially with Malamar, and that is in the context that Ultra Necrozma Malamar was very good, but has really fallen out of favour in the last couple of months. Both of these attacks are good, and I love the fact that the GX attack here allows you to just go, you know what? I'm just going to pile energy on, you can't attack me, I'm good. If you've got no other GXs on the bench, and there are 2 prizes remaining each, if you use a GX attack, you basically guarantee the win. Your opponent cannot take 2 prizes, and then next turn you're basically guaranteed to take the prizes. So there is a huge advantage with that. And I do need to mention that Latias Prism Star will accelerate basic energy from your discard pile to your benched Dragon Pokemon, your basics, which includes this. And let's not forget that Zinnia can accelerate energy, though you have to have it in your hand after one of your Pokemon KO'd the previous turn. And let's not sleep on Lance, which lets you, if you had a Pokemon KO'd the previous turn, get Dragon Pokemon and put them on the bench. Of course, Nest Ball will get this and put it on the bench, but you could play it with something like Dragonite, which helps you search out supporters, and maybe then you even build in a Latios Prism Star, 50 damage for each of your Evolution Dragon Pokemon. There is a deck to be made here, ladies and gentlemen. The GX attack works so beautifully with the main attack, and the main attack does so much damage that I absolutely adore this. Yes, it has to go into a Malamar deck to really take advantage at the moment. You could play it with Naganadel Quagsire, but the 2 Psychic Energy really becomes an issue. And it cannot trade well with everything, so just play a couple non-GX attackers. It'll be fine. But I've got to give this 5 Wassies, ladies and gentlemen, because firstly, it's a good card with a lot of potential, and secondly, I don't think the Baby Daisy would forgive me if I didn't. And I'm going to go read her a story in a minute, and I really want it to be in a good mood for that. But right now, I want to know what you think about this new Pokemon, so let me know in the comment section, ladies and gentlemen. Go nuts, but please do remember the rule. Be nice, would ya? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWassie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all of that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassiePlays for some more Wassie action. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves. Until next time, thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.